You're listening to the Small Business Tech Podcast, brought to you by Frontpoint-IT, Utah's premier managed services provider. Visit us online at www.frontpoint-it.com.
I'm Dan Stanford.
And I am Jeremy Wright.
And today on our Small Business Tech broadcast, I did it again. We are going to talk about search engine optimization, website development, basically online marketing for small businesses. But before we get to that, let's talk about Windows 10. Windows 10, our actual impressions of using it, installing it, that sort of stuff. How'd it go for you, Jeremy?
Went fine. I didn't have any issues on my installs. I did it on both my home computer ×2, a laptop at home, my desktop at home, and my work computer. All of them were painless, and I was most concerned about licensing, and I had no issues at all. So I was very impressed with that.
And you upgraded them. So you just straight up did the upgrade.
I downloaded the little tool and said, upgrade this computer. I said, keep all my files and settings, and I was living life on the edge and did not do a backup, and I'm still alive today, so we're good.
So I did a couple. I did my home machine and my office machine here. My office machine had a weird technical glitch because of some dumb things I had done in the past, and so that really caught me off guard there. Now that I know what went wrong, I could have easily fixed it, but instead I just wiped my machine, started over, loaded 10. So I got that experience, and then my home computer, I actually even did that from remoted onto my home machine, started the Windows 10, and then forgot about it throughout the course of the day. Came home and sat down in front of it and went, oh, that's right, I'm now running Windows 10, and that was it. It was that ridiculously simple to do that upgrade. So for you that, your home computers and that, go for it. We recommend it. It's not a big deal to do Windows 10. The checks on it to make sure that it will upgrade properly are extremely good. I think with 20 to 30 years of Windows experience under Microsoft's belt, they may have started to get the upgrade process right.
There is some privacy concerns with some of the stuff on Windows 10, so be aware of that. They also are changing the way they're doing updates. So if you have a large corporate environment like some of our clients, the updates are now kind of being torrented, would be the correct way to say it, I guess, really, where they're storing small parts of the update on multiple computers and then pushing it out over the local network. So one computer will download the whole update, and then it'll seed it out to the rest of the computers on that network to help decrease network traffic. I guess they've got it figured out. I'm assuming they tested it. They've got it squared away. That seems like it could raise a lot of issues, but it's really cool, but yeah.
If you are interested in doing the Windows 10 upgrade and you haven't received the little email from Microsoft inviting you to do it yet, and you're still waiting on it, all you need to do is go Google Windows 10 ISO, and please be very careful which results you take. Make sure that you are going to Microsoft.com when you do this. But if you do that search and then go to the Microsoft proper site, right there is a Windows 10 install tool. You run that on your computer, and then at that point you can either build a Windows 10 CD or just flat out upgrade it right then and there on the spot. It'll just pull it down, the data down across the internet, and upgrade your machine, and you're off and running. So you do not need to wait. ISO, you may not be familiar with that. That is a CD packaging format. So if you wanted to take a CD and turn it into an individual file, kind of like a zip file, it's called an ISO file. So Windows 10 I as in Indigo, S as in Sam, O as in Oscar, and it should pull right up. In fact, I'm sure there's plenty of other searches you could do, but please be extremely careful. There are a lot of malicious sites out there that have popped up around this, and that are conning people into going to the wrong place and downloading the wrong file to upgrade to Windows 10. So please, 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 Microsoft.com, be careful where you go.
Or shoot us an email and we'll send you the link.
There you go. Give us a call. We'll help you right out. Online advertising. So every business out there needs a website. It doesn't really matter if you are selling custom blinds out of your house, if you are selling services, you're a CPA, or you are building, little gadget, little gizmos to one particular client that you have, and that's it. Everybody out there needs a website. If you want to attract new customers ever, it's a necessity. Back in the day, it was all about yellow pages and putting your ads in there and the like. If you haven't picked up a yellow page book lately, you'll notice that it is quite anemic, and people are moving away from that in a big way. I can't really think of the last time I was interested in a product or a service personally or for the business, and the very first thing I do is go out and start doing some Google searches for it, and then check their website and check that service's website, whether it's for lawn care or whether it is for a new refrigerator. I'm going to do my homework and I'm going to look at this sort of stuff, and everybody is doing that now.
Yeah, and keep in mind that we are, this stuff falls into our realm often. It's not like our main service that we offer, anything to do with websites or search engine optimization. We don't really offer that at all, to be honest. But a lot of this stuff falls into our realm somehow, and we get lots of questions about it. That's why we're talking about it. Dan's right. You need a website. You absolutely have to have a website, because that's where your clients are. That's what they're looking for. When you do have that website, you have to make sure that you know what the purpose of your website is. So like Dan was saying, if you are a CPA firm, the purpose of your website may be to provide contact information. There may be a contact form for them to fill out. There may be some basic generic forms on there that your clients ask you for constantly, like a payroll update form or something along those lines that they're looking for. So make sure that those things are hosted there. So you need to understand the purpose of your website. What are you trying to get people to do with your website?
Absolutely agreed. And, as you're doing this website, you need to make sure that you're putting in the proper keywords so that Google can find this information for you. As Jeremy stated, to backtrack for a moment, we bill ourselves as an outsourced IT department, and while we definitely don't do web development, we are always involved in this sort of stuff and helping our clients. Okay, let's help find you a web developer. Now, this is really where you ought to host your website, all that sort of stuff. Keywords are critical for Google, because Google's lifeblood is off of bringing you relevant results when you do a search. So if you do a search for a particular breed of dog or something like that, and you're getting websites that are all about cats, you're not going to be a happy camper. So Google really wants to make sure that your website is relevant to what people are searching for. So you need to make sure that your website has the information in it and the keywords in it that your potential clients would be searching on. So if you are a dog breeder and you're selling a particular breed of dog, you need to make sure that that breed of dog is peppered throughout your website so that Google knows, okay, well, not only is this a dog breeder, but he specializes in this particular breed, so that when people do a search, that information comes up. Now, with that said, you can very easily take this to an extreme and not only ruin your website, but also ruin your ranking with Google if you go too far.
You can actually be punished for that. One of the key things that Google also looks for is location-based information. So Google has a little profile for every person that uses Google, that uses their services. So Google knows that I frequently search for Mexican restaurants in Salt Lake City, Utah. It knows that. It knows where I'm at based off the location of my Wi-Fi and the GPS in my phone and that kind of a thing. So when I go to search for it, it gives me the most relevant results based off my location and the websites I've clicked on before. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about the people that are coming to your website. What are they searching for? Are they people in your local area? If they're not, then you need to make sure that if you're looking for a nationwide reach, that's specified in your website by saying that we are a nationwide company. Make sure that you are putting in keywords for the locations that you are looking for, whether it's Los Angeles, New York, Miami, wherever it is that you are looking for. You need to have a presence in those areas to allow Google to help people find your website.
Yep. And as you are working on developing and putting together your website, you basically just want to be honest in the wording of your website and what you're doing there. But keep in mind that you do need to make sure that you are putting forth the information that is going to help Google help those trying to find you, by using those keywords. Another big aspect of online marketing is social media. Mm-hmm. Social media, that to me is a very tricky one. There are definitely, and I know this for a fact, there are companies out there that they exist because of social media. There are other companies out there that it really doesn't seem to make a difference if social media would help them or not. But let me have Jeremy tell you the virtues of social media.
Social media is great because it gives you a direct contact with your potential client or current customers and clients. It's great for feedback. It's great for finding new clients. But you need to make sure that you are posting things that are relevant to your clients and the people that you want to be talking to. You have to be sure that you're not bombarding them with your advertisements. A good rule is the 80-20 rule, they call it in social media marketing. 80% of the time you should be sharing things that are relevant to them, that have nothing to do with your company at all. Check out this great article I found about how to organize your home. Check out, it could be relevant to your industry by all means. If you're a law firm, it's a new things having to do with your industry, new things that are passed, or I don't really know much about that. New
laws or new regulations. Yeah. Hey, check out this new regulation that just was announced today. And, and then at the end, by the way, if you're having troubles with it, give us a call.
Right.
Throw that plug in right at the end.
But you have to make sure that 80% of the time what you're doing is not directly selling to them. Otherwise, people ignore it. We are very good at ignoring things. Think about when the internet first started, the pop-up ads and the advertisements were so blatant and very annoying, and everybody complained about it. Now we've accepted ads as a way of life, but our brain mentally is able to pick the ads out of a website and completely ignore it altogether, which always makes me wonder, who pays for these advertisements, because I don't ever click on them. But that's a whole other thing. But so if you're doing that, people can see an advertisement, when somebody's trying to sell you something. So 80% of the time, don't try to sell anybody anything. Just be sharing things that are relevant, connect to your customers, and actually want to talk to them and find out things about them. Ask them questions, figure out what it is that they're doing. What can you do to connect better with your customer? Because that's going to give you a great relationship with them. And then 20% of the time, go ahead and sell your services. Sell something about yourself the 20% of the time.
Be very careful about companies that will help you do your social media for you. Chances are they don't understand your industry, and then consequently they don't understand your clients, and the information they're going to put up on social media is going to be thin at best, irrelevant at worst, and it's just going to run your customers off. We personally have done that. We did it for years. We've had companies that have helped us with our social media because we just do not have time to do it ourselves. And we received absolutely no return on it. And the times when I would go out there and look at the posts that were being put up, they were just garbage. They were just trash. They were thin, weak, and sometimes, honestly, the wrong information. When we say social media, we are specifically, some websites in specific that we're referring to as, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, that sort of stuff. So, and there's a bazillion more of them out there. I know there's Yelp and there's Google Plus, and anyway,
Google Plus, plenty. What's that?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember it was something.
Make sure that you're on whichever site is relevant to your clients. So if all of the people that you're trying to, or not necessarily your clients, but the people that you're trying to reach, let me rephrase that. Maybe it's not your clients you're trying to reach, maybe it's potential clients or it's other demographics you're trying to reach. If they're on Facebook, then you need to be on Facebook. If they're on Twitter, you need to be on Twitter. If people you're looking for are B2B clients and you need to be talking to contacts, LinkedIn is probably where you need to be, not so much on Facebook. Make sure you're preaching to the right audience, otherwise you're not going to gain any traction. And you'd be surprised, maybe some of your clients or people that you're looking for are on Twitter and you have no idea. And you need to find somebody to help you navigate your way through the social media sometimes, not necessarily make your post for you like you're referring to, but maybe help you understand like what is the purpose of Twitter, what is a tweet, what do these things do, and help you understand those things. And there's lots of free resources out there as well. I know that like Entrepreneur and Forbes have great articles and great sections on how to use that effectively, like what's the point of it, how to make sure that you're not a stupid person on Twitter and Facebook. One of the big things that I always see with large corporations is they probably have like an entire department that runs the social media. Make sure that the people that you have doing it are the people that you would like to be the face of your company. They are the people that are going to be representing you on social media. And you see sometimes where people forget to log out of a Twitter account and they post something inappropriate that they were posted on their private one, which would be fine for them, but they posted it on the public one for a company, and that becomes a problem. So make sure those people are in line with what you want to do and hold them responsible for that.
I think with social media it just requires a level of engagement that you need to be aware of, and you really have got to commit to it if you're going to get any legitimate traction out of it, or any good out of it, pick up new clients, etc. It requires somebody who really knows the industry. So honestly, probably one of your employees that is need to do some training and understand what these the different outlets are and how they work.
Or your employees' teenagers.
Yeah, there you go. And really spend some time every day looking into this, following up with posts, putting up new posts, putting up information, to get that traction and to go. It requires a great deal of commitment.
It can be really scary too, because now you're talking directly to your potential clients or customers. And there can be a lot of scary stuff out there that you don't know about, that they're upset about, but embrace that and engage with them on that level. It gives you a unique opportunity to connect with those people in a way that you never could have before. If you have a bakery, for instance, it gives you the ability to be able to talk to those people that are purchasing your products directly, as opposed to through an email form that's going through a customer service department and all of those things. Now it's right there on your front page. They're saying that the cinnamon rolls they had the other day were terrible. And that gives you an idea, and you can talk to them and say, I'm really sorry. And you can apologize and connect with that customer and engage with them more so than you can through traditional marketing means. Because traditional marketing is yelling in somebody's face basically, or interrupting something that they're doing for your radio or your television advertisement, or you have a big billboard that's just up in your face and it's a one-way conversation. It's not a two-way like social media is.
And you can do also little micro, broadcasts. If you had a particular following, on your Facebook or your, Twitter and stuff like that, you can put out something that says, hey, the first 100 people that come, first 100 people in today, you get your cinnamon rolls for half off.
Right.
You can do little things like that and, cultivate a following where they actually feel like they're getting a reward for being interested in your company.
Mm-hmm. There's a whole thing about tribes, and I could go into that if we wanted to, but that's more like general marketing as opposed to social media specifically. Social media is great for connecting with clients. It can also bring you new clients, new customers. It can build your brand if that's something that you're concerned with. That's a huge part of it, is building the brand of how is your company represented out there in the world. That's, like we said, the most important thing is to make sure that you are where your people are, where the people that you want to talk to, that you're there in front of them. And a lot of them are on these websites. I think over half of all internet users in the world use Facebook. Which tells you how many, if it's a few billion people, I think, that use Facebook, that's a lot of people. It's a lot of potential people to talk to and to learn about your service. And also Facebook has built-in search. So people can search and find you through that. Twitter also has a search. LinkedIn, I'm not terribly familiar with, so I don't know, but I'm sure it has search functions of some kind. Those are all that's why social media is important. You can engage with people on it. You have to be able to engage with them on it.
Online marketing is where marketing is being done at now. And, you know, I think about some of the blue collar industries out there that may not even have a website. You know, some of the professional services that have, you know, a website that was thrown up 10 years ago that is, you know, just straight up terrible. That is a representation of your company, and your potential clients are looking at your website. They are searching it out, and when they see a website that hasn't been updated in, say, 10 years, they're going to think to themselves, well, what else have they not updated in 10 years? Are they even up to date on, you know, the current regulations and laws? Are they up, you know, are their methods still 10 years old? Are they not following the current trends and, you know, upgrading their technology? All sorts of things can be, you know, assumed from a very old website. So make sure that the website that you do have is current and is up to date. And, you know, it is not, I would recommend that a website is updated at least once a year. Not necessarily, you know, a full-blown replacement, but, you know, the content needs to be maintained. You know, even something as simple as trading out the images to help keep, you know, the website looking new and fresh are relatively simple things, but things that ought to be done. And then, of course, you know, website technology does march on. So if your website was put up 10 years ago, there's a very, very high likelihood that the technology behind it is very old, and it looks very old. And you'll want to, you know, it's time to completely rebuild that site and put it up with some modern technology and make it look nice.
And a lot of people I've talked to that have websites that are outdated that would like them updated, or they don't want them updated, let's say, they'll typically say, well, my customers don't care what my website looks like. And if that's all you aspire to, then great. You know, like you have to remember that it's not just the clients that you have. Like maybe they don't go to your website, sure, but like you said, potential ones are going to your website and they're looking at that. And you want to make sure that your website reflects not just the clients and customers that you have, but the ones that you would like to have as well. Where do you want to be? It's something like I always say, like dress for the job that you want, not the one that you have. Is maybe that's a little different thing now, but you back in the day that was probably important. But that's how your website is. It should be dressed for the kind of company that you want to be. Maybe not necessarily the company that you are at that moment, but it allows people to see your vision and your mission going forward. It's a very big representation of the way that your company is. And it can reflect your culture too. And like you said, if it's not updated, perhaps they think that everything else isn't updated in your office or in your business. And that can reflect the culture, and it can reflect the culture of laziness or, you know, technological ineptitude. Like we don't know what technology is or how to use it. And people can see that when it comes to your website. I know that when I'm searching for something, like Dan was saying, he searches for something instantly. I do too. I always search for a website. And one of the most frustrating things to me is when there's no prices on a website for something I'm looking for. If I'm looking at a product or service, I think I was shopping for, what service was I looking for? It was something weird. And there was no price on how much it cost on the website. And I was really turned off by that because I just was trying to get a ballpark figure for how much this would cost. And I couldn't find it. I think it was like a cleaning service for my mom for like her birthday or something. I was trying to find out how much that would cost to get her house cleaned for her birthday one time. And these websites did not have any ballpark at all. And I understand that, you know, hey, they probably have to do some type of like quote on how big the house is, what all you want done, blah, blah, all those kind of things. But just give me a ballpark. Give me something. And I ended up not purchasing from them because I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to waste your time and contact them and have a big conversation with them and then have a salesperson, you know, chasing you down when, you know, to get that house clean would be $1,000. You know, is what it ends up being. And if that had simply been on the website to begin with, then you could have made that decision. Yeah. Whereas maybe that website you were looking at was only $100.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, and the one that you ended up going with later cost more money than the website that didn't post their price. And had they simply done that, you know, not only could you have saved money, but they would have received that business, and they lost out on that.
So it's important to know what your website visitors are doing on your website. What is the point of your website? Is your website purely informational? Or do you want them to contact you? Do you want them to purchase your product or service? That needs to be clear on every single page, the path that you want them to go through. That's pretty general user interface design stuff, is just where do I want my customers or clients or website visitors to go to? And is it working too? Make sure you're looking at that as well. There's things I call vanity metrics, which are how many people are on my website. It doesn't matter if 5 million people go to your website every month. If not one of them buys your product or service, it makes no difference. So you have to get those people to your website, and that's using the techniques we were talking about earlier of making sure you have those keywords, making sure that you are on the up and up with Google, and everything makes them happy. They have a breakdown of things, by the way, listed for Google Webmaster Tools or Analytics, where they'll kind of tell you like, hey, your website sucks for these reasons. But you need to make sure that you're paying attention to, once you get the people to your website, what are they doing after they get to your website? Are they actually clicking on what you want them to? Are they going where you want them to? Or are they just clicking off of it?
The way to track that is a free service by Google called Google Analytics. And those of you who are out there listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, boy, I really ought to check in on my website. I should call my web developer. Do it. And then what you want to ask them is, hey, I want to see some of the analytic information from my website. And if they have a big long pause and they're not, and they do not have that information from you, maybe it's time to look at a new website.
Fire your web developer.
Yes. Because again, Google Analytics is an amazing resource, and it is completely free, and it just requires a little bit of code thrown onto your website in order to track that information. And then consequently, you're also on Google's map. And so their search engine, you know, is going to pay more attention to your website because they know you exist. So if you have questions about website design and website basic stuff, feel free to contact us. We are not a web development company by any way, shape, or form, but we do know a lot of resources that you can use to help you, and we'd be happy to help you with that stuff and maybe have a conversation about some of the other techniques that you have as well going forward. Yep. Like I've always said on this podcast, we bill ourselves as an outsourced IT department. We are here to help you with all of your IT needs, you know, help you with the consulting, actually, you know, taking care of the issues, whatever it is. We like to be your one-stop shop. www.frontpoint-IT.com. And I'm Dan Stanford.
And I'm Jeremy Wright.
Have a good day.
Thanks for checking it out, guys.